So first step with this is look at, so notice this is solve the linear equation. Now the reason we know we're solving, this is important, is because there's an equal sign, and it says in the instructions solve. So if there's an equal sign, you can go all the way and solve for the variable. So we're going to have v equals an answer. Does everybody understand? V equals an answer, because there's an equal sign. Okay, so what you do every time you're solving an equation is you focus just in on one side of the equation, one side of the equal sign, and you simplify everything on that side of the equation. So it's -2 times all that stuff in parentheses, right, everybody? So we've got to make sure that's one of the things that people miss is they forget to distribute negative through to all that stuff. But 4v over here is not being multiplied in, right? It's not right next to it. Okay. -2 times 2. Yell it out. -4. Now this is where people forget. -2 times v is -2v's. Now look, I'm going to cross those out because that's how far I've gotten here. Now I have plus 4v. So is there more we can do to this side of the equation? Yes, right? Combine like terms. So we have -4, and then -2v's plus 4v's is how many v's? Positive 2v's, right, everybody? So I have plus 2v's. Now I just took care of this entire side of the equation. Now let's focus in. I'll change colors. We have to keep our equal sign here, and we're going to focus in on this side. Combine like terms. 30 plus 1 plus 7v. Can we combine 30 plus 1? So we have 31 plus 7v, and that's all we can do, right? I'm going to put that down here. 31 plus 7v. Does everybody agree? Was everybody able to at least get about that far? Now from there you'd say, okay, I'm trying to solve for v, but I have two v's. Now notice, the v's are on opposite sides of the equation. So to get from this side of the equation to this side, we've got to use inverses, or use the algebra to get over there. You can't just float it over. What did I just do? Let's undo that. Oh. So let's do some algebra to get those v's together. So this is positive 2v, so shouldn't we subtract 2v? Now we're doing that to both sides of the equation. So don't forget your equal sign. That's what a lot of people will forget. So over here, combine like terms, -4, and then does not become 0. Yeah. Equals, over here we have 31 still, and then we have positive 7v's minus 2v's is how many v's? Good, positive 5v's, right? And now we have one variable, so our goal is simply get v alone, piece by piece, get v alone. So we're going to use algebra to get v alone. So what's my first step? Get rid of 31. It's positive 31, what undoes addition? Good, so let's subtract 31 from both sides of the equation. So on this side of the equation, if we add straight down, we get -35, right? Don't forget your equal sign, and then those become 0, and then we have positive 5v's. Last step to get v alone is divide both sides by 5. -35 divided by 5 is -7. And now our 5's divide out to be 1, so we have 1v. Isn't 1 just the same thing as 1 times v, which is just v? Guys? So we have v equals -7. How many of you got it right? Cool. How many of you saw your mistake and that just does good? Awesome. Good. Those of you that saw your mistake and were able to say, oh, now I see what I did wrong, that's just as good. Okay, so that level is the level that we expect that to solve for linear equations. Any questions? Okay. All right. Now we're going to get right into the lesson 1-2. So we're just going to be simplifying expressions. This should be simply pretty easy for us because we're already doing this when solving. So you need to really force yourself to focus and ask questions. So first of all, we need to know some vocabulary. The word standard form, you're going to hear me say that a lot through the year. What standard form means is you start with the highest degree. Now remember, the degree means exponent. So if we have x to the third power, the degree is 3. Does everybody understand? X squared, the degree is 2, plus x, the degree is 1, right? Plus 3 would be x to the 0 power. There's no x's there. Does everybody understand? Okay, so standard form means putting it from the highest degree to the lowest degree. So these are some examples of things in standard form. X squared plus x plus 2. Do you see how it's the highest degree, the next highest degree, and then the next highest degree? 2, 1, and then there's no x here. Everybody understand what standard form is? Highest degree to lowest degree. So this is also in standard form. Your final answers have to be in standard form. So look, degree 3, degree 2, degree 1, right? If there's no degree there with an x, there's always really a 1 there, right? And then no x. Do you see how it's written? That's our constant. Highest degree to lowest degree. It's that easy. All our answers have to be in standard form. So it says simplify the expression. So simplify can be many things. It can be multiply, divide, add, or subtract. So looking at this example, do you need me to give you a second to write it down as an example? Okay, on the back of your worksheet, maybe write it down real quick and then we'll go through it. So first of all, you say to yourself, I'm just simplifying this, so I'm just combining like terms. What the heck? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I just couldn't remember this problem. Here we go. So combining like terms. Notice, isn't it subtraction, subtraction, addition, subtraction? So it's all adding and subtracting. So apples can be combined with apples. So K's can be combined with K's and K's only. Constants can be combined with constants only. So let's combine. Let's focus in on our K's. 2K's plus 10K's minus 1K. So let's go here. 2K's plus 10K's is how many K's? 12K's minus 1K. 11K's, correct? Okay, now cross those out so that you know you've taken care of those. Here we go. Now we're moving on to the next like thing. Negative 4 minus 3. Don't just see a 4 and a 3 and say a 1. Think about it. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. So now I'm going to cross those out to make sure I don't forget anything. Now, is this in standard form? Yes. Highest degree to lowest degree, right? Okay. Questions on that? That is our answer. So don't insert your own fancy equal sign because there was no equal sign to begin with. So that's our answer. We're not solving for K when it says simplify. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Let's do another one. Write down this problem. It says simplify the expression. Notice, again, there's no equal sign. We are not solving for x because there's no equal sign. So all we have to do here is combine apples with apples, oranges with oranges, bananas with bananas, and so on. Okay, like terms. So let's start with our x's just because, yes. No, we can combine them in any order. So negative x plus x is how many x's? 0 x's. Let's write that. Cross those out. Now we have a constant. Now this is what I see people do where that maybe like math is a little bit harder. They'll see this negative behind 8 and they'll think it's negative 8. But that negative has nothing to do with 8, right? You read it, you look at 8 from left to right. So that's positive 8. So just make sure you don't make that error. So we have 8 minus 7, which is what? And is it positive or negative? Positive 1. So you'd say plus 1. So now think about it. 0 times x, or 0 x's, we don't need to write it, correct? So it'd just be positive 1. So our final answer is 1. Notice we don't have x equals because there's no equal sign. Like this is just simplifying. Pretty simple for the most part, right? Okay, here we go. Simplify the expression here. So I told you, that simplify can mean add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So simplifying the expression. In this one, aren't we doing multiplication? And it's negative 2 times all that stuff in parentheses. Do not forget to distribute, guys. You've got to really think. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x is negative 2 times positive 3. Negative 6. Now, is it in standard form? Yes, right? Highest degree to lowest degree. Remember, it's degree. And then, can we combine those? No, that's an apple, that's an orange, right? Everybody, you cannot combine an apple and an orange. Okay. Here we go. Simplify the expression. So what I want you to do is do this one on your whiteboard and hold up your final answer. Go. Right big. Go. So you have negative 7 times all that stuff. So you got to be really careful here. Negative 7 times negative 2x is Positive 14x's. Now let me show you what I saw a few people do that I would have marked a little bit of points off for on this next one. Negative 7 times negative 4 is, what is it? You said positive 28, right? So you can't just write 28 here. That's what I saw some people do. It's positive plus 28. Does everybody understand? Make sure you distribute the negative times negative is a positive. So this would be our final answer. It's in standard form and we can't combine them. Questions? Okay. All right, let's do this one. It says simplify the expression. So looking at this one, guys, there's a lot going on here. Multiplication and then there's addition. So we would take care of multiplication first. So notice it's 2 times all that stuff. Let's just focus in on that first. So I'm going to give you a second to write down the problem. And then we're going to go ahead and perform the math. So multiplication is what we're going to take care of first before we add or subtract anything. So 2 times all that stuff. Let's distribute. 2 times x is 2x's. True? 2 times positive 1. Let's get in the habit of plus 2, right? Positive 2. Now careful here. This is where people mess up, but not you. You're not getting it because I'm teaching you. This is not just 3. This is negative 3, correct? Negative 3 times all that stuff. Negative 3 times positive 2x's. How many x's? Negative 6x's. Now this is negative 3, not 3. Negative 3 times negative 5. Positive 15. Now look at your problem. Do you see how now it's just adding and subtracting, adding apples to apples, and adding oranges to oranges? 2x's minus 6x's is how many x's? Negative 4x's. I'm going to cross them out so I don't miss anything. Positive 2 plus 15 plus 17. If you get going too fast on these and mess up on a negative, it's a shame because really that wasn't a hard problem. And that's what is important in this class is that we just go slow and think and not mess up on little things. Because little things start turning into big things later on. Okay, awesome. Okay, what I want you to do is do this one on your whiteboard and hold up an answer. All right, let's go through it. So you thought of this hopefully as negative 1, right? Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times positive 2 is negative 2, right? Yeah. Now we're distributing positive 3, so that's positive 3 times negative 2x, which is negative 6x's. Positive 3 times positive 1 is positive 3. Then from there, it's just adding and subtracting. You guys did good to say negative x minus 6x's is negative 7x's. We're getting much better at that. Not just seeing a 1 and a 6 and going 5. Negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. So that should be your final answer. If you made an error somewhere, just do you see where, hopefully, those of you that made an error. Okay. Awesome. That's our final answer, right? Okay. What I want you to do now is go to your white worksheet and finish it. Check off every problem with me, and then you're going to hand it in. So if you need help on one of those, raise your hand. But I know you can do it. Think about it. Do a few checks with me.